Hey, sports fans, we're back at it again, and today we're here to take a look at the GOAT in training, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. In his fourth year in the league, Patrick sits atop of the NFL world as one of its brightest stars and its highest paid player. A league MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, and a three-time Pro Bowler that has been to at least a conference championship in every season he's started. There aren't many better starts to a career than what Mahomes is currently in the middle of. But these are probably things you already know about Patrick Mahomes, yeah? So today, we're here to talk about 10 things you didn't know about superstar Patrick Mahomes. Before we jump in, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. All done? All right, let's do it. Number 10 on the list today, Pat loves him some ketchup. Pat admitted that his love for ketchup is something he can't explain, but he's loved it ever since he was young, and he puts it on just about everything. When he was young, he enjoyed ketchup so much that he would eat ketchup sandwiches. Yeah, just ketchup and bread. He said he used to get teased about it all the time and has since grown out of it, but that's how much he loves the taste. Some of the things he likes to put ketchup on are eggs, steak, mac and cheese, and even barbecue. Hunt's Ketchup actually caught wind of his obsession and quickly signed him up to be one of their main spokespeople. The match? Well, it's one that's made in ketchup heaven. Number 9. Mahomes can throw a football over 80 yards. And there's video proof, ladies and gentlemen. We all know Pat has one of the strongest, if not the strongest arm in all of football, as if him being arguably the best wasn't fair already. And his bazooka can reach the end zone from a touchback. During Texas Tech's Pro Day, Pat wowed scouts and anyone in attendance when he dropped back and threw the ball over 80 yards on what is a throw that has to be seen to believed. The craziest part about this throw is that Pat made it look relatively routine. His cannon can launch a football over 62 miles per hour, and with that type of velocity, it's no wonder that he can fit the ball into tight spaces and closing windows between defenses to the likes of Hill, Hardman, and Kelsey. Number 8, Patrick Mahomes is the first quarterback from a Texas university to start in a Super Bowl. Now, on the surface, this might appear to be a crazy stat, right? But when we take a closer look at some of Texas's best quarterback prospects, Vince Young and Colt McCoy, they went to Texas, and they never whiffed a Super Bowl appearance, right? If we look at Texas A&M quarterbacks, Ryan Tannehill came close with the Titans in 2019, but close, that doesn't count. As the saying goes, everything is bigger in Texas, but it looks like universities aren't that big on bringing in top prospects. Now, Patrick Mahomes, he's head and shoulders above the other prospects that have come out of Texas, and right now, he's holding it down for the entire state. Number 7, Mahomes switched his number because a kicker wore his favorite number during his rookie season. Now, this may go down as a Final Jeopardy question one day, so pay attention. And don't forget to thank us later on down the road. Pat Mahomes wore number 5 since he was a teenager, and his favorite number was pretty much his identity in high school and college, but when he arrived in Kansas City in 2017, the kicker, Cairo Santos, was wearing Pat's number, so Pat decided to go with another one of his favorite numbers, 15. Rather than ask Cairo, Pat decided to switch his jersey number and let Cairo keep the number 5. Cairo was a Pro Bowl kicker at the time, but this one's a bit of a head-scratcher, and we've never heard of a player brought in to be the franchise really taking a back seat to anyone. Maybe this just speaks to Pat's character and humility. What makes this fact even more interesting is the fact that Cairo was placed on IR and waived less than a month into the season. Had he been waived just a few weeks sooner in preseason, Pat would probably be wearing that number 5. You look good in 15 though, Pat. Things work out for a reason. Number 6, Mahomes almost quit football before his junior year in high school. Yeah, he played safety at the time, and he was super frustrated because he thought he wasn't getting a fair shot at playing quarterback. His mother said he was very distraught, but he decided to stick with it and tough it out. He finally was chosen as the starter and took the reins of the team after beating out one of his best friends for the starting job. Number 5, Pat's favorite thing to do in the offseason, well, it's playing golf. Although he's not exactly great at it, Pat can drive the ball a mile, as you can imagine, but he needs work on a short game. His main competition is his dad, Pat Sr., but he's said to beat his dad every now and then. Pat's gotten better, and he's taking golf more seriously, so we're sure he'll take over his dad in golf supremacy in no time. Number 4, Mahomes was an armed robbery victim shortly after being drafted by the Chiefs. Just weeks after being selected by the Kansas City Chiefs, Pat was in Texas to watch a baseball game with some buddies of his, and an armed robber pulled up on them. Although they were shaken by the ordeal, nobody was injured during the robbery, and the assailant was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Number 3, Patrick's brother is becoming a TikTok star. If you're familiar with TikTok, you know it can make you a star overnight. Just look at Dogface or any other of the TikTok users who went from relative obscurity to internet sensation as fast as they can take a few sips of cranberry juice. Well, Jackson Mahomes, Pat's younger brother, is one of its up-and-coming uploaders, and he currently has over 800,000 followers, a steep climb from just 60,000 followers a year ago. He posts videos of himself doing an assortment of dances and isn't really shy about saying Patrick is his brother because the question is brought up by his followers all the time. Jackson was a basketball player in his high school days. He was actually pretty good as one of the team's leading rebounders, but he decided to give up the sport to pursue other passions. Keep on dancing, Jackson. We're not mad at it. If my brother was worth $500 million and one of the best talents the NFL has ever seen, I'd dance too. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes idolizes Alex Rodriguez. When you take into context that Pat Mahomes was a baseball prospect and he grew up around the sport with his Major League father and Pat Mahomes Sr., this shouldn't surprise you. Pat Mahomes Sr., who played on 6 Major League teams, moved around a lot. Whichever baseball stadium Pat Sr. was in, Pat Jr. tagged along. Even at just 4 years old, Pat's dad said he was a sponge and he soaked up information from pro athletes like Kirby Puckett and Mike Piazza. Patrick had quite a list of tutors, to say the least. Pat's biggest impression came during the 2000 World Series when he was fielding ground balls for Derek Jeter and shagging fly balls during batting practice for Alex Rodriguez. Pat got to see their work ethic and took a huge liking to Alex Rodriguez and started to do whatever he did to prepare for baseball and incorporated it into his daily life. His biggest takeaway was a tireless work ethic and approaching each rep as if it mattered. The lessons took, and before too long, Pat became a baseball stud. And number 1 on our list today, the 10 things you didn't know about Patrick Mahomes. He won an MVP without being able to properly read defenses. Pat's words, not ours. We don't know if Pat is being modest or if he's really just naturally that talented, but the quarterback admitted that he needed to get better at reading defenses while on LeBron James's show, The Shop, and claimed that he understood coverages, but he didn't know how to pick up the little things on defense, stuff like Brady and other QBs have done, right? Pat says other quarterbacks know it and just do it, but he was just out there playing. If that's not a wow moment, nothing is. If you consider that Pat threw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns before knowing how to read defenses, it's a frightening concept for anyone in the league who's not a Kansas City Chief. What's even scarier is that it's possible that 2 years since that quote, he's still getting better. All right, sports fans, that's it for our time on Patrick Mahomes and the 10 things you didn't know about the Kansas City Chiefs superstar. 10 things up, 10 things down. Was there anything on the list that you already knew? Anything we missed? Drop us a comment down below and let us know. Also, if you haven't done so already, of course, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all of our content and all things football. Until next time, sports fans.